So how is your grocery shopping? Do you have a list when you go to the grocery store
I
or
think
just
for me, and
like,
I shared this just recently actually, that what I try to do when I go into the grocery store now is just load my cart up with different vegetables because I don't necessarily have a plan. I just know that the more vegetables I have, the more creative I will be. And if that's my only options, then I'm almost forced to cook them. So I think we can all agree that there's times when we're maybe tired, and maybe years ago I might have grabbed a pre-cooked meal or something easy, and now because my fridge is just vegetables, or if I have to take some meat or fish out of the freezer, I have to be proactive and actually cook. So I highly recommend just keeping your fridge loaded with different vegetables and not having anything that might allow you on those days when you're feeling tired to maybe sway the other side. How about you?
yes, I completely agree. Yes,
Okay.
I do have a shopping list actually. I have this printout. I usually mark what I need. And it's a good reminder. I have all the vegetables or the fruits or the meat and fish that I can eat. And when I go there, when I go to the grocery store, usually I go only to the, I mean, not only, but like that's the first place I go, the vegetables and the fruit section. Like you said, load up my cart. And I think it's a good thing to have because a shopping list kind of you don't buy extra things, like you don't wander around and like let me add this. And what I find over the years is you can find alternatives for everything. Like if you're looking for, if you know that you are gluten free, there's an option of gluten free pasta, or if you are dairy free, there's an option of dairy free milk or yogurt. And what I really find useful, I don't know if anybody has the Bobby approved app. Like instead of reading labels, it's really easy just to scan the item and it tells you like, is it a healthy one or not? Um, and that's, I taught my son how to use it and he's my biggest helper when we shop
Do
around.
you think, or do you actually, when you write a shopping list, are you meal planning for the week? So do you have an idea of what meals you're going to be preparing for the week? Or,
I wish I do because that would make my life easier, but it's just, it's hard because when you write down like tomatoes, you go to the grocery store and, for example, they don't have organic tomatoes or something, like you get thrown off. So you just put whatever you have and like you said, being
yeah,
creative, opening the fridge, like what am I gonna make today?
true.
And
And one
um,
of the things I just shared yesterday actually is one of the things I've also been trying to do is to kind of cut back on carbs. So thinking of ways to replace potatoes. I absolutely love white rice. So one of the things I've been trying to do is get creative with how I can replace a carb. So last night, for example, I had a little we had a protein, so we had a beef, but instead of doing mashed potatoes, I roasted the spaghetti squash, and that was I consider kind of our mashed potato. And then had some roasted Brussels sprouts, and I still had the gravy. And so I think it's kind of thinking of different ways and just trying to explore different vegetables and kind of seeing them as a carb as well, and replacing some of those other carbs that maybe
yes,
cause inflammation and aren't necessarily as good for you.
yes, it's very true. But talking about potatoes, I'm a big fan of potatoes. Like if we go out to a restaurant, we have to order some kind of potatoes. And recent potato has like, is it good or bad? But I recently learned that yellow potatoes are actually not bad for you. So that's what I'm trying to stick to. And baked potato, of course, or the air fryer. I don't know if
Love
anybody's using air
it.
fryer, but
And
it's my
sweet
biggest like
potatoes are
friend.
amazing, like sweet potato
And
fries.
yes, and sweet potatoes. But I don't consider
True.
sweet potato a potato because it's so
That's true.
sweet. Like
I think even that they say the purple potatoes, and so I know here you can get the mini potatoes
yeah,
that are kind of the tricolor potatoes. So I think what we were talking about too is that you're never going to have a perfect lifestyle, and I think there's going to be moments where you may go out for dinner, or I may even cook some mashed potato and enjoy it. But I think it's just doing your best at least 90% of the time if you can, But definitely allowing yourself to have potatoes when you want potatoes.
Yeah. Do you read
I,
labels?
to be on, and this might just be the stage in my life, and that my kids have both left home, so it's just my husband and I. So because of that, I'm not buying as many snacks, or I'm not thinking about. I think when your children are younger, you have to be more proactive in thinking what's going to be quick and easy, and what's in it, what's in the product. But I just find for myself, because it's really just me, I might have some almonds, or I might have dates. So if I am going to buy something that is a snack, I will definitely look at the label, but it's not, I don't have to do it quite as much, just because I think my household is a little bit quieter and I'm not feeding little ones.
Yeah. Me and my husband, we were just talking. His idea is like, I don't know why supermarkets doesn't have like a healthy section, when you just go in and everything is there and it's healthy. And yes, we all wish that there's a
So it's
section
not,
like
so
this, but
in Canada, so I'm in Ontario, we do actually have our organic section. So everything within that section is organic and healthy.
yes, fruits and vegetables, yes, but I'm talking about like if you want to buy gluten-free pasta, because there is a good and a bad gluten-free pasta, like all those things you have to read the labels to make sure. Like what I check, the first thing I check is the ingredients list. If it's more than 8 items and I don't recognize half of them, that goes back on the shelf. But if I know what's in it, then the next thing I check is the nutrition facts. So I check if there's sugar in it or saturated fat, but things gets complicated and very time consuming. So that's why I said the app. But anybody who is kind of like discouraged by all this new information, I feel like once you put it in practice, it gets easier. Like now I walk in the supermarkets and I know instantly which brand is good, and I don't even check the labels anymore. But yes, I wish I can just like snack on dates or give. Actually, I like eat dates pretty often and like almonds, but we need to have other things in the pantry. That's his favorite spot.
I completely agree. So I think grocery shopping and planning and just trying new things is probably living, MS naturally. Now, I also believe, even if you're taking medication, which Agatha, we've talked about this many times, that's the right decision for many people. And we both agree who knows, maybe one day we may make that choice too, for whatever reason, but still taking all of these best practices, even if you're on medication, and applying them and living and feeding your body what it needs. Because I think just in general, our health and what we're feeding our bodies will prevent many illnesses, not just MS. And I think there's more awareness coming to that. And I think that's probably one of the biggest messages, that hopefully more and more people are going to get out there, that we need to start looking at food as a preventative for any disease, heart disease, like many diseases. So I think it doesn't, living this way and having these best practices is also just super important for your health, whoever you are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very true.
Yeah.
Well said. Yes, I completely agree.
So I do have a question for you, and I don't know if anyone even online is juicing. So I have just got a juicer today. I used it for the very first time, and it was super easy, which surprised me. I don't know why I felt like it was going to be a challenge. But once you've juiced, so if you have the pulp left over, so carrots, do you use that in your cooking? Okay.
I tried. I actually tried to use the apple, and it doesn't taste good. And it's not only doesn't taste good, I don't even know if there is any nutrition left in it. What I use it throughout the day, because we have a filter system in the house, and it literally filters out everything. So the water I'm drinking has no minerals in it. So what I do, I put a little bit of drops in it throughout the day. So at least hopefully it gets some kind of minerals back in my water. But yeah, unfortunately that's a waste. That's after juicing it goes to, yes. But about the juicer, I don't know if you get the Omega juicer. That's what I have. I tried other juicers before. I ordered a few on Amazon, and my thing with juicing is I don't have time to kind of clean the juicer, make the juice. But once you put it in practice, it just gets, it's quick. You don't have to spend more than 5-10 minutes, and it's super beneficial. And cleaning the omega juicer, I think is the easiest. Like that's only like 2 minutes. Of course, you cannot wait to get dry because then it's gonna take an hour. But right after you juice, you drink the juice, you clean the juicer, and it's like a 5-10 minutes thing, and it has amazing benefits. Like it reduces inflammation, promotes healing, and it helps with injuries also. So it's reduces bloating. So it's, I don't know if you guys read the Medical Medium book by Anthony Williams. It was one of the first book I read, and he talks about celery juicing all the time, and not only celery juicing, but every other, like you can mix all different vegetables and fruits. Usually I do like beet, lemon, apple, carrot, celery, pear, kiwi, pineapple, cucumber, whatever I have in the fridge. Like I just put the juice. Even cilantro or parsley or spinach. Like you can. It just gives a little bit of flavor, but I feel like it's just so beneficial, and it's easier to like chop it up and like make it a salad. I just put it in the juicer. But about celery juicing, he talks about how important it is just to drink the celery, just make celery on its own, nothing, don't mix it with anything, and drink it 30 minutes before breakfast, because that's when your body needs to heal, and that's how the celery juice, it's kind of gets in your bloodstream and goes to your brain, and your day just starts differently. And yes, so I've been trying that, and it's yes, it has that bitter taste, which after a while you get over it.
And do you, through your research, do you know if can you make a few batches of it? So if I wanted to make a few shots of celery juice, does it need to be fresh same day, or can you pop it in the fridge and then have it a couple of, like 1 to 2 days later?
If it's fresh, that's the best way to drink it, especially celery juice. But you can also store it in like glass containers for 1 or 2 days. If I make more, but usually even Lily, my 17-month-old daughter, she just finished like a half cup of celery juice this morning. I was shocked. But it doesn't last in our household, but I think you can save it for like 2-3 days.
I see that someone
in the fridge.
Just mentioned that it's good for 12 hours to drink it, which is good to know. And then someone also just asked the question about using it as a meal replacement. So I'm very new to juicing. I don't know if Agatha, if you ever use it as a meal replacement.
You can, but you're gonna feel hungry, so you might need to add like a salad or something. But if you don't feel hungry, yes. And intermittent fasting or not eating for 12-14 hours, that's also very beneficial. And I think during that time you can, or finish it with a juice and don't eat for another 30 minutes.
Sorry, you said not to eat for another 30 minutes?
Oh, yeah, that's with the celery juice. That's what they are.
Kind of break the fast with it and then wait 30 minutes. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's really good to know. Because I think that's something I do on a regular basis. I just wake up, I work from home. So I'm not necessarily as active as the days when I was commuting and going into the office. So I do find now it's just naturally I'm comfortable fasting and probably not eating until 11 o'clock. So that's probably something I'll try then, is actually breaking it with the celery juice.
Yeah, let me know how it goes and how you feel. That's more important.
Too here, just saying that it's best to eat still, but wait or drink for 30 minutes after the celery juice. Right, perfect. So that's good. So I'm very. This is completely new to me, juicing. So I'm really excited that this is something else I'm going to introduce. And I think we've chatted a lot about just best habits and mindset, and that's again something I think both you and I really try to do, like every single day, is kind of starting your day. And one of the things that I recently introduced, which I know we've been chatting about, is the red light therapy. And I
Yeah.
did this for a couple of different reasons, actually. One of for the inflammation in my body, and then also I've also suffered with rosacea in the past, so I wanted it for skin therapy as well. And there were just so many benefits, improving your mood. And I think what I found, and I know you've, I think, just ordered yours, Agatha, is just starting my day with this ritual. I'll throw on a podcast. I'm really listening to a lot of Dr. Heinemann right now because I think he's just got some amazing insight. But I will start my day with a red light therapy session, listening to a health podcast. And I feel that that just sets my mind and sets my day, where I'm immediately kind of going into reinforcing my decisions about being as healthy as possible. And it's just, I think if you set the intentions at the start of your day, that's what really helps you move through the day and kind of continuing with that healthy choices that you make, because it can be a challenge.
Yes, I completely agree. And for me, it was so hard after Lily was born because, you know, the feeding and all the mornings, like getting like ready to school, it was just very overwhelming. But finally, thanks to my husband again, he takes care of the children while I wake up, and I do some 5-10 minutes meditation. And now hopefully I'm gonna get my red light machine soon, and that's gonna be sitting next to me. Because a few days ago, I actually went, not a few days ago, when I was complaining about my leg pain, I tried cryotherapy, which is amazing and I highly recommend to everybody. And the place also had this red light machine that you get in for 12 minutes. So I was like, sure, why not? Let's try it. It says it helps with your inflammation and promotes sleeping. And after 12 minutes, I left the place and I just felt like so happy. I couldn't explain myself, like my complete mood shifted. And I'm like, I need to be back here. Every time I feel like down, this is the place I need to be. And yeah, I saw Dr. Walls also recommending it and a lot of other people. And I asked you which one you got. So I
Yeah, I think
ordered
someone
mine
else
and I'm
asked
excited to
that. So
try it.
I opted with Hooga, so HOOGA. I in Canada. Oh,
It's sold out. I didn't
oh,
order. Yes, the one you have, it's sold out, of course. So I
okay.
ordered it from
That's good. And the other,
livepro.com.
so one of my other friends, or that also had purchased one, she got hers through Amazon. They have my model through Amazon. It's the only Huga model they sell on Amazon. But it's in, for anyone that's in Canada, it's in obviously in Canadian pricing, so that's always good for us, not being in US. So you can always check Amazon too. They carry one of the Huga models, which is the one I have. But it's a very, when you get it, you'll see it's a very sturdy machine. So you do feel like you're actually purchasing something that's very, very well made. And I think there's just another question, if fully dairy free, and thoughts on goat cheese. So this question is probably my favorite question because I love dairy. I love cheese. It's my favorite food. So giving up cheese was absolutely one of the hardest things I had to do. And do I occasionally cheat? If I do cheat, it will be with goat cheese. That's it's probably, so I, over Christmas, felt like I went and I started to have I find it's a bit of a slippery slope that once you start to say it's okay, it's Christmas, and then I started to notice that over a few weeks, because we also traveled over Christmas, that I started to be a little bit more accepting of cheese again, for other reasons as well. For stress, I had a bit of a flare up. So after I had that little flare up, because I hadn't had one in 5 years, I said, okay, I need to not cheat. I need to really be committed to this. So at the moment, I'm 100% dairy free. But I would say if there was the occasional bit of cheese, it would be goat. And Agatha, what's your thoughts on it?
I actually have Parmesan cheese, and sometimes I do put on like gluten-free pasta, but I'm trying to be like fully dairy-free. And if you go to the supermarket and try to find dairy-free options, once you scan it with Bobby approved, you're gonna find it they are not so healthy. So I think it's just best to kind of program your mind that dairy is not good for us, and try to stay away. But yes, goat is something that you can
and I think
cheat,
it's
I
just
guess,
through some of the
sometimes.
podcasts I've listened to, I think if you know you're going to get goat cheese and you know the source and you know what the goat's been eating and it truly is just this kind of fresh, amazing cheese. Yeah.
I was about to
Yeah.
say it also depends
Then
where
it
the
might be
goat
a
cheese
little
is
bit
coming
more, you
from.
may feel a bit more comfortable with it, but I don't think many of us have the privilege of having access to, or maybe at some of the, I think at farmers markets, you may be able to have those conversations with, that's something I know this last year I did, and this year I'll be doing again, is trying to, shop local and talk with them about, at least you'll have a better understanding of how it's made. And so that might be beneficial too.
Yes, I
So I
agree. I remember every time I go to visit my family in Transylvania, I can eat cheese there. I have no problem because I know where it's coming from.
It's
Here,
definitely, and I think
it's a different
what's
story.
interesting is what we also have the battle of is very good marketing, because I was noticing even when I was I know there's obviously a difference in farmed fish and wild fish, but I was noticing I was in Farm Boy and they had fish, and then they have this kind of sticker on it saying wild, and then you're all of a sudden thinking, oh great, it's a wild fish, but it doesn't. It's like really smart how they work marketing, where they can, they can say that it's grass fed or a product is, but that could possibly mean that the last thing they've eaten is some grass. Like, it doesn't mean that they've necessarily been grazing on grass. So I think it's just, that's what's challenging too, is that we're also dealing with possible companies that are very good at marketing and then also leading us to believe something it isn't. I miss cheese in my pizza.
Yeah.
Me too. Pizza's the thing I miss the most. So are there any, should we see if there's any other questions? Does anyone have any questions for Agata or I?
Yes, the questions are coming on the feed, so I have to scroll back.
I've been keeping my eye on them. I think it's...
You're so much better than me with I was trying to figure out how to wave back at everybody, but it's I don't want to accidentally close down the window.
I think I just really what's helped me over the last bit, and I know I'd like to give you a shout out, Agata, because I feel like you're such a fantastic spokesperson for MS and just encouraging people to have the right mindset and support each other. And I think that's one of the things I would say to anyone listening on the call, that there's an amazing support group, whether you're on medication or not on medication, and surrounding yourself with people that have a positive mindset and are sharing positive things on Instagram. I think it's very empowering. And I know for myself, that was a huge part of my success in going the natural route and coming to terms with my MS diagnosis and being secure in it, is having this kind of community that has a similar mindset. So definitely encourage you to follow as many people as you can that have a similar mindset, so that when you're on Instagram, you're continuously boosting yourself with, the right messages and empowering yourself.
Yes, very true. Yes, and thank you for your kind words. It's not like I'm trying. It's more that whatever I share, I get the feedback, and that keeps me moving. It keeps me motivating, and that's why I'm doing it.
That's the beauty of it, is that Instagram can be seen as kind of a social media thing, and how many likes am I getting, but this isn't what it's about, this community. And I think, that's one of the amazing things, just even working with you and seeing what you're doing, is that it truly comes from the heart. And I think that's what we all need to do together, is really keep sharing these messages and just building this community together.
Yes, I agree. And thank you for coming today. Thank you for jumping on this call. And I hope we can do that soon. All right. Thank you, everybody who joined. I'm going to post this video later today. And